Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Virgins and the Village, a Sex and the City watch-along podcast with two registered virgins.
My name is Alex Pittner, and I'm here for the sex.
And my name's Hayden Hartrick. I'm here for that city. And today we have a new friend in the village.
The village has a new face, my friends.
Everybody, give a warm round of applause to Maxim Foster.
Thank you so much. I'm so honored to be here. You guys are my favorite virgins. I'm so happy that I'm joining you today.
Well, we are so happy to have you.
Of course.
We just watched Season 1, Episode 6, Secret Sex.
Oh, boy.
Alex, why don't you tell us what the episode was about?
Everyone buckle up. This might be the longest summary, and I'm really ashamed of it.
Yeah, let's just all say that whenever we came up here to record, Alex said, I'm going to stay down and watch more to really get the summary correct.
This episode begins with Carrie doing a photo shoot. The same photo we see on the bus in the intro. That night, Carrie has her first date with Mr. Big, and the gals talk about having sex on the first date. TLDR, Charlotte is not for it. Carrie goes and meets with Mr. Big, and they have sex! Afterwards, they go to a Chinese restaurant where they run into Mike, an old friend of Carrie's. Mike doesn't introduce Carrie to their date. We learn that Mike's date is a cheese vendor that they don't want to be seen with in public. Mm-hmm. Mike takes the cheese vendor to the Chinese restaurant because it's secluded and no one will see them. Later, Carrie goes on another date with Mr. Big, and they run into an old friend of Mr. Big's, and Carrie is nervous because Mr. Big doesn't introduce her, and even more nervous when they go to the same restaurant again. The bus that has Carrie's picture on it gets a penis drawn on it.
Woo.
Later, Carrie confronts Mr. Big about him not wanting to be seen with her in public. But it turns out Mr. Big just really likes that restaurant. Meanwhile, Charlotte kicks a guy named Ted in the head at anime class. Miranda. Oh no! Miranda kicks a guy named Ted in MMA class, and they get together. Miranda finds a VHS tape of spank porn in Ted's apartment, and later spanks Ted, causing Ted to never contact her ever again. This episode was written by Darren Starr and directed by Michael Fields.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. My sex count for this episode, because I realized I have forgotten the past couple episodes to be keeping a sex count, I had 2.5. Because I'm not 100% certain that the porn video that is shown counts as a sex moment.
Right.
Can I get some ways in from the audience, please?
Yes, yeah, because if this is an explicit podcast, right? We can say any words. Yeah, because if I recall, the dialogue in this the spanking porn is like, "Oh, that's where your cock belongs," right? And we don't see the cock on screen. So it begs the question, what's going on there? So I don't know if that is sex, and no one knows if anyone finished even in that.
We didn't explicitly see cum,
Exactly.
so I have to count it as a half.
Yeah.
But the other two sexes, I believe, was Carrie and Mr. Big. They have sex in the episode, and Mike and the cheese girl.
Yes.
I'm also going to throw out Charlotte. There's a story
in the
told.
Hasidic,
Fuck, I forgot about it.
Yes.
So it is 3.5.
Exactly, and then in the end, this episode closes with Carrie and Mr. Big making out, going towards the bed, but it doesn't happen in the episode.
Does
That's
not happen.
true.
Does not happen.
That's true.
Exactly.
My sex count, I tally when it is, there is the finish and you got the L blanket on,
Oh, you're right. Yes, yeah, and they're cuddling up, and they're they see some really quippy dialogue back and forth that no one says.
Marvel level
Exactly. Yeah.
I have to say the intro, it's lost all its charm on me.
Yeah.
I hate it so much now. In the first episode, I remember being like, the music is there.
Yeah.
I hate it now. It's my least favorite thing in the world is this fucking intro.
It feels very basic. Also, it only shows Carrie, so obviously she's the main character. But it's like the other ones aren't even in passing it on the street. They aren't even with her in the last shot. Maybe as the seasons go on, they change it. But this first one, it's
I sure
very
hope
weird.
so. I sure hope so. I sure
Me
hope
too.
it's like anime style where they get a new intro every season that spoils things from the arc.
Yeah, that's fair.
That'd be cool. That'd be
I would
real
hope
cool.
so.
Yeah. I also feel like the opening kind of summarizes, Carrie's style, where it's like she's always doing good, she's looking good, but she never wins. She always trips or whatever, or the water gets on her from the bus or something.
She's always wearing that ballerina outfit.
Exactly. The dick is always drawn on her face. At the last moment she fumbles the ball or something. But it's just like, okay, like just boring. It's a boring intro, and yeah.
So what I feel like happened is
real quick. I was talking shit about the intro. Max just broke it down. Now I love it, and it's one of my favorite things about the show. That Carrie's looking great, doing all that stuff, and Carrie never wins.
She never wins, and that's the whole thing, But then in this episode, she does win, but, it doesn't matter. So.
She wins Mr. Big's dick. Is that really a prize?
Yeah. I thought that we were going to learn about Mr. Big's dick this episode.
Yeah.
Because I thought he had a huge dick.
Giant cock is the thing, right?
I thought that's what his whole deal was.
I think whoever told you that was misinformed.
That's fair.
I didn't like Mr. Big this episode. I hated him.
Yeah.
He talked like a bad Joker.
He really did. And also, like, I don't know, I feel like the plot, it would have been kind of more tension or some more interesting conflict if Mr. Big maybe was kind of treating her like, putting her in a niche like that. Like she was saying, like, I'm just the person that you don't take to the nice restaurant or whatever. And maybe if he was like, you know what, you're kind of right. Like, not fully right, but then it's just like, no, I'm actually a nice guy. And she's like, oh, I was wrong the whole time. And it's like, yeah maybe if he was, it would have given him more depth if maybe they both had things to correct about themselves before they date, Yeah.
I wrote down that, like, I didn't like that because I feel like that's the classic thing where, like, she's crazy.
Exactly.
She misinterpreted everything,
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that would have been more interesting and less, it's problematic. I don't know. I don't like that angle. It's like, it's full gaslighting at the end, right? Am I wrong?
Yeah, because he could have been lying.
Totally, yeah. And he was like, oh, I don't remember the guy's name. Like, he says, for anyone who didn't watch the episode, like, the reason I didn't introduce you to my friend and his girlfriend is because I forgot the guy's name. But he could have just said, this is Carrie. Like,
I forgot the guy's name, and I might have Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
Which, like, just, like, is brought up and not thrown as, like, a joke. Like, it feels like a really serious line where he's just, like, actually saying he has Alzheimer's. And
Oh my
like,
god,
what?
yeah. That is like the line, if we want to bring it up, Kim Cattrall, Samantha, her saying, and that kid who still lived with his mother. And then Carrie was like, oh yeah, he was in high school. And they're like, see, man, I've had sex with so many crazy people. And it's like, what?
Yeah.
Did Samantha commit statutory rape?
Yeah, like,
that's the question,
my God,
right?
Like a cougar, like, extreme, like, I don't even know.
It is revealed that Samantha has sex with a high schooler. Or has had sex with a high schooler.
Exactly.
And then I think it's the next line that Samantha says. Is, see, I'm not ashamed of anybody I've had sex with.
Yeah,
It's like, well, let's be ashamed of the high schooler.
Ashamed of anyone I've had sex with. Oh my god, girl. Oh man.
Should be.
Also,
the 90s.
I thought it was very funny that Charlotte is like, you can't have sex with him for 5 days.
Yeah.
5 days. But it's like, in the last episode, 2 minutes after meeting the guy, it was like, yeah, I'll let you paint my vagina.
Yeah.
That's good for it.
That's not sex.
You have to pose for hours, whereas you paint.
Exactly, like, and although it isn't sex, you would think her character is kind of a bit more modest, so, like, why is she the one opening up? If it's Samantha, it makes sense. If it's someone else, it makes sense. But, like,
There's an ant on my computer screen right now. Sorry.
I think that the last episode, it should have ended with Charlotte being like, I don't want to pose for you, but I know someone I can call.
Ring, ring.
And then they pull up Samantha. I actually think that would have been a better ending than an episode that's more consistent with the characters.
Exactly, yeah, because, like, it's one thing to see, like, oh, characters are opening and changing, but it's episode 5 of the first season. It's like, it's okay to have the characters not change yet, you know what I mean? So
this is why HBO needs the entire village in the writer's room for the remake.
Exactly.
We're pushing our goalposts. We're not just trying to get me and Alex in. It's every guest that we have.
Yeah.
Every guest that we have needs to be in the writer's room.
Exactly. Do you guys foresee yourselves ever being ashamed of people that you would have sex with? Like, do you think that you would be in that position or something like that, Like... Why are you looking? Why are you staring at me?
Sorry.
Alex, are you ever going to be ashamed of people you have sex with?
Probably not. I'm wearing a dirty shirt and I ate a bag of Takis and Oreos before this. I didn't even wash out my mouth, so I can look like a pirate right now. I think someone's gonna be ashamed to have sex with me.
Might be the other way around.
Yes, yeah, definitely it's gonna be the other way around because I'm gonna be all like making jokes the whole time.
I have told you guys a lot of stuff that if I was going to be ashamed of having sex with somebody, it would not.
Yeah.
There's a further back line where I think sex is versus the things I've told you guys as my friends.
Right. Yeah.
I strongly suspect that sex with me is gonna be like having sex with a cartoon character, because one time, I don't know if I've talked about this in stand-up before, but one time I was kissing a girl in high school.
Whoa!
Okay.
I was in high school too. I was in high school.
Get Alex out of the show. You can't be on anymore.
Oh my god. Okay, Samantha Jones in here. Oh my god.
When I was in high school, I was with a girl, and she put her hand on my chest like things are gonna escalate, and I went, gosh!
Oh, and she literally paused, stepped back, put her clothes on, literally like as if she was rewinding, took it all back on and walked out. Oh my god, that's so funny.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really ticklish too. Like, I just don't think it'll be a good time. Like, I think I'll just be tense and be like,
Laughing it needs to happen in sex. It's just
really.
Yeah.
I take everything I just said back. I'm gonna be so fucking amazing. I'm gonna be fucking Gerald Seinfeld on it. All right, I laugh so much. I have a theory that the season's gonna end with the intro.
Oh, it's gonna end with her in a ballerina outfit walking down the street, then getting hit by a bus.
Oh yeah.
I hope Carrie gets hit by a bus.
I hope not.
I think
so. There's some divisive take.
Yeah, okay.
So you want to be in the writer's room, but you think that season 1 should end with Carrie getting hit by a bus? Because that's why you deserve to be there.
Because they say in this episode, I believe it was Charlotte said, or one of the two characters said, nobody cares about a bus till they get hit by it. Samantha. Could you imagine how great it would be if Carrie gets hit by her own bus?
Oh, whoa! I actually do like that, and it's kind of like. And so it's a bus with the photo of her from the column on it, you know. Mm-hmm. It's like her job is gonna kill her, you know.
And she gets hit by the penis.
By the penis.
By the penis.
So like maybe in this episode or the last couple episodes, Mr. Big is like trying to connect with her, and she's like, "No, my job," and then finally she gets hit so hard by a bus with her like job on it, you know, that she's like. She can't write. Her hands are broken, so she has to fall.
And the bus, when she gets hit by the bus, she flies across the streets of New York, and Mr. Big's penis scoops her up and protects her from falling.
The foreskin, and she's like, "Oh wow!" And then she uses the foreskin like a flying like squirrel and like parachutes down.
Glides down Mr. Big's foreskin.
Man.
And Charlotte's like, "I don't do that until date 7. Am I right, gals?"
And Samantha's like, "Oh, I've been there before." And then Miranda's like, "Business." What does Miranda do? Like, she's like, my briefcase.
Miranda starts pulling out just a bunch of different types of fetish porn and just throwing them across the city.
Exactly. Wait, so to break it down, so Miranda's like the business one, cares about her job. Samantha's like the one who's had sex all the time. Charlotte is just like wants true love, right? She's like modest.
She's like the pure one.
Yeah, and then Carrie is just kind of like the protagonist, kind of.
Yeah, person. She's the Leonardo.
Yeah.
What we said? Carrie's Leonardo. Miranda's Raphael.
Mm-hmm. Samantha's Mikey.
Samantha's Mikey, and Charlotte is Donnie.
Mm-hmm.
If Ninja Turtle terms help you.
Not really. Kind of glaze over. They all kind of look the same.
I'm really glad we spent I enjoyed it. I actually had a lot of fun thinking about that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was a really good conversation.
Put it in your own language, and then just like it makes sense. Because all shows are really like that, you know.
Yeah. No, the characters are so great. I talked about in the first episode how I learned about that. I learned about sex. Or the only time I'd ever heard about Sex and the City was from a Cracked.com video.
You learned about sex from this show? You didn't know what it was?
From a Cracked video, and they actually talk about that. They talk about how the Ninja Turtles character types go into every single other form of media, and they talk about Sex and the City, and that's where I heard about it.
Yeah.
I don't know if our characters match up, because I watched that video like years ago.
Yeah. I remember one time being a kid flipping through like channels when I was 10 or 11. I would spend a lot of time just kind of watching the TV channels with all the movies on them, You know, there's like really like 400, 500 channels, and like one of them was, I think, Sex and the City, so I turned it on, and I think it was one of the movies, and I don't remember really what was going on, but they were like in a yoga class, and they were like talking about, oh, do you have like a fuck buddy? And someone was like, what's a fuck buddy? And they like explained it, and I was like, I shouldn't be watching this at all. I really shouldn't. And I immediately changed it. But that has like been burned in my head as what this show is. Just like women in yoga class talking about fuck buddies. Which is...
I mean, essentially, that's what this episode was.
Really, yeah.
There was no yoga, but there were a lot of fuck buddies.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Real quick, I want to address. So... I hated Mr. Big in this episode.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
He was terrible. Every line he said was delivered like his opening line when she comes out in the dress and he's
what
like...
I wanted to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting dress.
And Carrie, and Carrie goes, meaning?
Interesting dress.
And that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he's just an asshole.
And then he gets into the cab and he's like, don't worry, I can restrain myself. It's like, yeah, you should be able to.
Exactly, and that I feel speaks to this larger, just like this show is
Bigger.
like a relic, a bigger
Whoa.
This show is like a relic of a different time, like pre 9/11, pre like the boom of like just like I don't know, consumerism, like way more in the 2000s and 2010s. It's so interesting watching this, almost like 25 years old now.
Yeah.
It's so crazy watching this episode. It just seems like it's not even America. I don't know. It's so weird, you know?
Yeah,
this is the thing. It's like there's so many characters. Like I think that's what the thing about Skipper, right?
Right.
Is Skipper is so much
an incel.
So I was like, we're gonna get I gotta talk about Skipper today. Is what I was thinking about. I almost put that in the summary. It's like, no Skipper, baby.
Woo! No Skipper.
Well, no, I was just saying. It's the thing.
Okay,
It's like he's an archetype. He's a character archetype of the '90s.
Yeah.
That when you're watching the show, you know that they're not writing him to be a bad person, but he just comes across as terrible.
Yeah.
That's true.
Like, it seems like they're kind of trying to write him a bit sympathetic in a way, but like from our perspective now, it comes off as so like incel, nice guy, like friend zoned, blah blah blah. Yeah, so interesting. And also the whole theme of like don't have sex on the first date, do this, do that. Like it's kind of blaming it on the woman in this like episode. Again, that would just never happen in like a show today. You know? Yeah. So interesting.
I also wanted to keep on the Mr. Big theme.
Right, the Mr. Big train.
Every face he makes is like he's a supervillain plotting something.
Oh man, yeah.
Everything he says is like in some way a fuck you to Carrie. Like after they have sex, Carrie's like, that was so great. And Mr. Big, his exact line is, that was pretty fucking great. But what do I know? What the fuck are you doing?
What are you saying, man?
I did write one of my notes that I wrote on my paper is just shut fuck up, Big.
Yes, and then after sex and everything, she kind of adjusts, and he's like, she's laying on his arm, and then he moves his arm. He's like, ow, 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 and he's just moving his arm. I'm like, dude. And then everything he said, he's like some way undermining what she said, never really taking her seriously, like saying she's crazy in a way.
He doesn't say any real words.
Yeah.
He's written like a Zack Snyder character.
We're gonna get there.
Oh
folks.
wait, yeah. Plant the seed in your head now. Put a pin in that. Oh
It's
my
called
God.
foreshadowing, y'all.
Literally. Oh man. God. Yeah, Mr. Big, not great. I thought so. There's another male character in this episode, Mike. Not the spanky one, but the her friend, right?
Yeah, her
That's
friend Mike
yes.
with the cheese store girl.
Exactly. I got
Libby.
them confused. Mr. Big and Mike. Also, like literally with Mr. Big, it's like, oh, Carrie's true love or whatever. Every time that they mention a character's like hot or something, and then the character shows up, they just look very average and very normal, which is not a bad thing. It's kind of a good thing. You know?
Carrie says something about like Mr. Big being like extraordinarily sexy, and then he shows up, and I'm like, is that like that's the goalpost right there?
I think he's like maybe he's well dressed and he brushed his hair, but it's just like modern.
He's not ugly.
Yeah,
he's a decently like attractive guy, but I wouldn't say hot.
Yes, like, and I think it's like modern day sexy and hot is like Riverdale or whatever. That's like what we think of now. But it's so kind of relieving that in the 90s, like, everyone was just very average looking, and that was fine. Like, that was okay. You didn't have to be, like, super rich or super, like like symmetrical in your face or something, you know?
Yeah.
Nice.
Except for the cheese girl, because her explicit problem is she's not hot enough.
Hey, thank you for coming and reading in for this role. You're reading the role for the ugly cheese girl. Is that...
You're reading the role for the girl who is not good enough.
Yeah, exactly. yeah.
Because of her looks.
Exactly.
Only because of her looks.
She comes out on top, though.
Yeah, the narrative rewards her.
She knows what she makes the good decision to leave him, because don't fucking settle for somebody who doesn't think you're attractive enough to
and also
date in the open.
like emotionally open or something like that. Like girl, good for you. Like go get someone who can talk to you about your problems. And
but
shit.
Also, speaking of cheese girl, I absolutely, in the scene where, the whole scene where Mike and the cheese girl, like, Libby, I keep calling her the cheese girl because that's just how I know her in my head.
Right, she is named.
Because of the iconic scene, because the whole introduction to her is like a minute or 2 minute sequence where she is just giving Mike cheese to sample, and then they shift and get so horny in a cheese shop. I never want to see anybody that horny in a cheese shop.
Cheese shop. I do love that. I love that a lot.
I did write down that scene where she just keeps feeding him cheese is like supposed to be funny, but like I got the picture in 15 seconds, and as you said, it was 2 minutes. Like if she just fed him one cheese,
exactly,
and he was like, "What is this?" She's like, "Gouda," and then it cuts to them fucking. That's kind of a funny bit to me.
I agree.
But 2 fucking minutes of just. This one's
American. It's cheese. It's made by monks. Speaking of, I want to try monk cheese. They made that cheese look good.
Very interesting, yeah.
But then they just kept going on, and then they were so horny in a cheese store, and that's just. I don't know if I could ever get that horny in a cheese store.
I know, it's so like, and I feel like they just had to maybe pad the episode or something because that scene was so unnecessarily long. Like, it was
actually, I was reading online, and that scene was originally the entire episode.
Wow,
was 20 minutes of just
we've never met before.
handing cheese, and then Carrie said, "That's Sex in the City."
That's the Sex in the City of this week. Let's talk about the locations. There was a cheese shop, the Bed Bath & Beyond, someone's apartment, another guy's apartment.
Bed Bath & Beyond definitely sponsored this episode because it was also on the bus ad.
Oh,
because her bus, a bus comes by first, and it's not the Carrie Bradshaw penis bus.
Yes,
it is just a Bed Bath & Beyond bus. So Bed Bath & Beyond definitely sponsored this. But yes, continue.
Yes, no, it's so cool. And then one of the penultimate moments is them all on the street waiting to watch a bus because Carrie's on it, and I'm just like, this is so interesting that this is what the show is. This is driving the show, and it was kind of whimsical in a way where it was like. This seems like New York life is just a bunch of eclectic random spaces that people just all occupy together.
Yeah.
It's so cool just watching rich people in New York just fuck around with really no stakes. It's so addicting to watch. It is addicting to watch. Like yeah.
Also in that scene, Charlotte was holding like 10 champagne glasses, and there were like 4 people there.
Literally, she kept like refilling, and then she was like holding them, and they were all holding like 3 glasses. I was like, who is this for?
Miranda wasn't even there.
Yeah, Miranda didn't show up, and nobody mentioned it.
Yes, like, and then they kept cutting back to Samantha, and she kept being like, "Give me your glass," pouring. Well, that's the thing about men is that it's never good, and literally handing it to the girl. Oh, it is so funny. Oh my god.
Also. I want to talk about Miranda's side plot a little bit.
Yeah.
How did you feel about Ted?
I
seemed a nice enough guy.
I liked him a lot.
I kind of wanted something to happen with the spanking.
I think it's because I think it's only because he only said like 7 lines.
He didn't get to ruin himself.
Yeah, precisely. Also, I think the spanking thing. Miranda shouldn't have spanked him in public.
No.
I think that was the crossing the line.
So bizarre.
Like, don't get me wrong. I think she should have confronted that and been like, "Hey, I saw this thing, and like, I want to do this for you because I feel. Is this what turns you on? Because like, obviously, that's like a sweet thing. It's like, you know, catering to somebody else's needs. I'm assuming in a bedroom,
right?
Because it's like, you know, but on New York City street.
Street corner. Yeah, that would be like if someone like, you know, I don't know, just saying something wild. If someone came up and shoved some sweaty gym socks in my face and said, "Hey, is this hot to you?" And I'm like, not now.
But then you grabbed onto Mr. Big's foreskin and flew away.
I said, I gotta go. Oh my god, the foreskin signal in the sky, like in the Snyder cut.
That was the greatest part of the Snyder cut.
Yes.
Is when Darkseid like pulled his foreskin out and
Mr. Big came out and he said, "I'm here, Carrie."
And we were like, "This is rated PG-13." Oh my god! So this begs the question, you know. So Ted's whole thing is spanking. For you guys, what is your spanking? You know. What would that be for you?
You know what? You know what, Max?
Let's dive in.
Look, you're the guest. I figure you should start here.
You know, socks, group, public, age difference, watching, being watched.
That's your VHS
on
copy?
Top, in the...
Because I thought the question was like, what VHS copies do we own?
Oh. I thought we were me too. That's what I was talking about. Yeah. Oh.
I will say,
showers.
Miranda.
What? No, that's the one thing I will kink shame. That I will kink shame stuff. Anyway, you were saying?
I'm glad we're talking about this on the podcast.
The podcast that my mom listens to. And,
I didn't know that.
And now I think another one of my family friends was texting me about it. Stephanie, if you're watching this, thank you very much.
So Miranda fell into the classic trap of thinking that
spanking a man in public.
Exactly. I've done it all the time.
Of thinking that
strangers.
What's
where you walking up, like in the football field, like, hey, spanks him.
Yeah, I was watching a baseball game and I saw that Max, you had snuck into the stadium in a uniform just to like spank the players as they went on up, right?
And keep in mind the uniform is the mascot uniform, so I'm like a furry, like spanking people on the field. Oh my god.
Yeah, you got in big trouble.
Lord
for that,
have
right?
mercy. Yeah.
But Miranda fell into the classic trap of thinking that what someone likes in porn is what they like in real life.
Precisely.
Exactly. And, you know, sometimes a fantasy belongs in a fantasy. Also, who knows if that was his? I mean, really, obviously it was in his apartment, but it could have been someone else, you know?
Yeah.
You don't get closure there.
She was also, like, I don't know. I always get really uncomfortable when people, like, snoop around in other people's apartments.
Yeah.
Because I really thought this episode would have been better if Miranda just found a dead body in his apartment. I thought that would have been an interesting twist.
It's Carrie's body.
It's Carrie's body.
He was driving the bus.
Carrie died off screen. Carrie died off screen. Oh, he's so good. Oh my god. No, yeah, I was thinking maybe he would find like a wedding or a photo of him and his fiance or something. Maybe she was like, it was the secret sex because she was having an affair with this guy or something like that by accident, didn't know.
Yeah.
But I really wished, because in the end she was kind of, the narrative kind of did like punish her for kind of, you know, invading maybe his privacy. So he did come out on top even though he was embarrassed.
That's true.
Don't invade people's privacy.
Exactly, and so she
don't
never
look through my VHS collection.
Exactly.
Alex.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
We're not talking about that on the podcast.
No. Maybe we should talk about it.
No.
You're gonna do it.
I want to move on.
You're gonna do it while Max is here.
I'm interested. I'm intrigued.
Max is intrigued.
I'm intrigued.
Max is intrigued.
Audience. I heard nothing. I heard
wow.
there were 40 people sitting right on the other side of my closet door.
By the way, yeah, it's live studio. They hate this show. They hate it. Literally checking their phones. Oh my god.
Have the people who are wearing fucking headphones listening to Mark Marone, fucking WTF. Who even listens to that anymore?
Literally, episode 4000. God.
Although Ted's apartment was dope.
Yeah.
Again, just all these locations of like people's New York apartments, and they're like 2 stories, and they're like have great, gorgeous plants and stuff. And I'm just like, I want this life so bad. I want to be rich in New York in the 90s with no stakes so bad. Just sleeping around and writing a column and somehow having that support you in New York. Like writing a sex column for a newspaper. Like a newspaper.
Yeah.
Not even like any, I guess the 90s, but still.
Yeah.
Man.
Even in the 90s, I feel like it's like TV news is like...
Something, yeah.
You know?
But it's the equivalent of her, like, doing, like, an advice podcast, and that is her only job, it seems like. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like, honestly, the modern version of Sex and the City for today would be, like, Big Mouth. Because, you know, it's just, like, media has just become so cynical and so, like so not sincere or something that it's all just irony and you know what I mean? So, and that's
the hormone monster is such a Samantha, dude.
Such a Samantha. It's awesome.
Also, so when they're watching the spank porn, like Miranda shows it to Carrie, it like pans out to Carrie blowing a bubblegum bubble and it pops. And I thought that was fun. I just liked that.
That was a nice comedic beat, yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Do we have anything else to talk about on the episode? Because we're almost at 30 minutes here.
Nice.
What's up? What's up?
I did a visual gag.
You did a visual gag on an audio-only podcast?
I don't think so.
Haha penis. They drew a penis on it, and I laughed.
Right.
Hayden laughed way too hard and
We all
long
laughed.
at the graffiti of the penis on the bus.
Penis funny, all right? What can I say? Penis graffiti funny. If I was Carrie Bradshaw, I would have been like, hell yes. If I ever get a poster anywhere and somebody graffitis a penis on it, I will applaud.
You've made it. It means you made it.
It means I made it. Like,
definitely. And again, I feel like it ties back into the intro. You know, she's about to have this great moment, and then right at the last second, she fumbles it. You know, someone draws a penis on her poster or something. It's like it ties together. You know,
why wasn't that penis? Why isn't the penis in the intro?
I'm pissed off. It would have been a spoiler. You know,
That's true. That's true.
Again, because I think that's where the show is leading. I think that's how the season ends. It's just a different bus.
Hitting a bus.
Yeah.
There was an editing moment. I wanted to talk about because we talked about in was it last episode that had the weird transition? Was last episode shoe episode?
Yeah, with the shoe.
Yeah. There was a shoe Batman transition, and in this one there was a. It was just a regular wipe transition,
like
right?
Star
Which
Wars.
they've done wipes just like right to left, and it's never disorienting. But for some reason, this was the only time in the episode the editor decided to add a transition sound,
bizarre,
and I was like,
wow.
what?
Took me out of it.
It threw me. It thrust me out of it. I was like a Christmas Carol guy. It pulled me out, showed me the ghost of Christmas past, showed me my past.
Yeah.
Said you're a bad person. Shoved me back in my body,
totally.
and then I kept watching.
Yeah, that was the part that made me most uncomfortable about the episode was when the ghost of Christmas future came in and started like hanging out with Hayden.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You offered him a Pepsi. You didn't offer me and Max any.
No.
Yeah.
I was like, dude,
well, I
5 more
only
minutes
had
left. Come on,
so
man.
many Pepsis. I can only buy so many Pepsis.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's higher on the list. I mean, the stakes were high. Right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Come on.
that is-
If
that's
you
true.
can't.
That
If
is
the
true.
Ghost of Christmas Future comes in, I didn't say his name right. I said Ghost of Christmas Future comes in. You gotta offer him a Pepsi.
You gotta. You have got
Carrie
to.
Bradshaw told me that.
Oh, I have one more thing to mention. I just saw in my notes.
Yes.
Charlotte, having sex with the Hasidic painter was the whole thing.
Yeah.
Just want to say his art, shit, horrible. They literally walked over to a giant canvas and it's like, this is so beautiful. And it literally was like, I just think like a blue sky and orange ground, but it didn't even look like that. It might have been that. I could not say it, but it also wasn't like abstract in a cool abstract way. It was just bad.
Yeah. I think they were trying to go for the abstract angle, but it wasn't at all. It was just horrible to look at.
Exactly, because it was like the C plot, so they didn't have funding for nice art. So
this is the second time like a C plot has involved a Carrie plot in a Charlotte plot has just been C plot because Charlotte
exactly.
has just been her walking around and then something happens while she's looking at art, and I feel like that's going to become a theme where all of her important things happen while she's just looking at somebody's art.
Exactly.
Also, did you guys recognize the actor that played the rabbi?
No,
I did. I couldn't put.
I can't put my finger on who he is.
I looked up on IMDb. I couldn't find them either.
Really?
Yeah.
He might be uncredited, like truly.
His face is familiar. I've seen him in something else, and I just can't remember it.
While we're looking that up real quick, Hayden, I wanted to say, you're totally right. The narrations are the column. I think that I think it was last week I was talking about how I think that some of them are the column and some of them aren't. I think that you're right. I think that every narration is the column.
I enjoy that framing device actually. At first when I watched the pilot, I didn't like it. It felt cheesy. I actually do enjoy it now.
I love it.
I know who the guy is. His name is Glenn Fleshler.
Okay.
He was quote Randall in Joker. He was
That's not how I know
and
him.
he is Goran in Barry.
Goran! Oh, that's where it is.
Yes, literally, in this photo, I instantly recognized him from Barry.
Yep, there it is.
Yeah.
If you haven't watched Barry with Bill Hader, do yourself a favor and watch
also, he's
that
in
show.
Watchmen. He's Fred. I don't remember Fred in Watchmen.
Oh, Fred was the guy that was Rorschach.
You're so right.
Yeah, Fred's the guy who like catches the bullet, right? And like
definitely.
Where's the purple? And his name is Ozymandias.
Yeah.
Oh, he's smiling. I do think, along with the framing device with the narration and stuff, the writing is just very quippy. Again, in the pilot, I was like, this feels too like sincere or kind of
except for episode
embarrassing.
4, in
Really?
which the writing was terrible and awful.
No, was it a different writer? That episode.
No, it was a Michael Patrick.
It was a Michael
man.
Patrick star, and it was coming off of episode 3, which I still think is probably one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Episode 3 is still my favorite.
No, but yes, the writing has been very good. There's a lot of quippy dialogue, especially when all the girls are together, when all the gals are together.
I
It's the
think I
best.
could watch that. Like, I think I'm really addicted to that, and I don't know. I might honestly watch more of Sex and the City because I've heard good and bad things about it. You know.
I'm sure there's going to be so many bad things.
I know. Yeah.
Offensive
shit. I've heard that stuff wouldn't fly today. I've
Yeah.
seen it.
Yeah. I mean, I was looking up factoids.
Okay.
Hayden just put crumpled tape on the floor in front of me.
You have the talking tape.
What? It's like the conch in Lord of the Flies.
Exactly.
You need the talking tape.
Talking tape.
I don't know what I was gonna say. That's it.
I think that about wraps us up for this episode.
Yeah.
You think so?
We're gonna move on to a new segment where we read emails.
Woo.
Because we got our first official email. This one is from a very special friend of the show, Miss Claire Pittner.
My best friend and sister, Claire Pittner.
Claire, I'm going to murder you for taking my title as best friend.
I never gave it to you. It was Max's the whole time.
This is entitled I think we're just going to read the email real quick. It's a short enough email.
Nice.
A message from the sister. Hey, Queens. First, I love the podcast so much. You guys make a great duo. Second, this has been really bothering me. Carrie's friend's name that you keep forgetting is Stanford. An unfortunately very straight name. He's arguably the only non-problematic male character on the show so far, and he's gay, so 2 gold stars, ooh, a capital ooh, capital ooh, lowercase ooh. Third, do you guys like the name Charlotte? I love it. I would name my firstborn Charlotte. Alex, I love you and miss you. Hayden, I feel obligated to address you as well. You can give 2 gold stars as well if you want. Hello to Hayden's mom as well. Abso-fucking-lutely yours, Claire Pittner.
So
Claire,
sweet.
thank you so much for the email.
That's
it
the
means a lot.
queen of the podcast.
Kind of rude you didn't address Max here.
That's okay.
Yeah, it's
back.
okay. It's
I'll
okay.
be back.
It's okay.
I'll be back for revenge.
But yes, Stanford. Max,
Yeah.
have you met Stanford?
Yes, because he's in the pilot.
He's in the pilot. That's right.
Don't love him.
Yeah.
Me neither.
I don't love him.
He seems a bit like a stereotype.
He seems like I do agree. He's as a character, he is not problematic. Like
Precisely.
in the universe of the show, he's
Yes.
not, and at least not yet. Who knows?
Well, he did do that. He was a little bit weird with the model.
I don't think that was.
Oh really?
Just a little bit weird. It wasn't problematic. It was just
Yeah.
kind of like that's kind of makes like I would be uncomfortable if somebody did that to me, regardless
What
of
did you
gender.
do?
I
don't think I saw that
He was just
episode.
like really like.
flirty.
Maybe I'm
Really
misremembering it.
I think
Yeah.
I might be misremembering it, but I just remember.
I think he just had a crush.
Oh.
I maybe I'm thinking of another character that did something, but I remember like somebody touching somebody's like chest and
I
going
see.
like ooh,
I see.
and
Oh no, yeah, that's
Stanford?
fair. That's true. That
and I was just like
happens,
I just personally like regardless of whoever it was would be uncomfortable if somebody did that to me in public.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. He does feel like a kind of just like an ornament, this ornamental
Yeah.
gay guy kind of. His lines are funny, but it's also like, ooh, I'm gonna have sex and because I'm gay and I'm this guy over here, he's hot. I'm gonna flirt with him. At the same, like it would not be a problem if there were 2 gay guys and one wasn't like that and one was, but since he's the only one, it's like ugh. But also 90s, 98, so
Yeah.
makes sense. Yeah, and also again, Darren Star, gay man, creator of the show.
Yes.
So it puts that in a different kind of light too. It's like he creates this character.
Yeah, I believe Darren Star has written episodes that prominently feature Stanford.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Interesting. Food for thought. We're gonna have to see what he's like as the show goes on. But as of right now, he is kind of just on the side. So.
I do love the name Charlotte.
Yeah.
I think it's a
Yeah.
wonderful name.
It's great for her.
Claire, I am going to hold you to that of naming your firstborn Charlotte. Whoever it is, regardless of who it is, I'm going to force you to name them Charlotte.
You gotta do it. And Charlotte feels
agree.
very modest too. Charlotte feels like true love. She wants that. Like it feels like a nice Southern Belle kind of name or something like that. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good name. Also, it's just very smooth on the mouth. Charlotte.
And it also has so many nicknames. You can go Charlie.
Charlie,
you can go,
Char.
Yeah.
Letty, Lottie.
Charlemagne.
Charlemagne. Charles the Great.
Charles Dickens the Third. You can nickname yourself that if you wanted. But yes, Claire, thank you so much for the email. If you guys would like to email us, our email is virginsandthevillage@gmail.com. Again, that is virginsandthevillage@gmail.com. If you email us and you got some fun stuff to say, we will feature you on this podcast. If you don't want your name read or anything, just put it in the email. We won't read your name, but if you just want to have some fun with us, you send us emails. We'll give us some discussion topics. We'll talk about literally anything.
Hell yeah.
Except our VHS copies. That's off limits.
I already apologize. You keep bringing it up on the podcast. I'm like, Max is here, so it's like, we gotta do it because I won't do anything crazy because Max is here, but you really gotta stop pushing me because I'm gonna do something fucking crazy.
Alex, you know who you just reminded me of? You just reminded me of Jared Leto Joker, which brings us to the Virgin segment.
Woo!
Now, on this episode of the Virgin segment, we are recording this on March 20th, 2021, which means that 2 days ago released the one, the only, Zack Snyder's Justice League, the Snyder Cut of Justice League. Before we get into that, do either of you two have any Virgin segment stuff you would like to talk about?
I think Max is a non-virgin, so...
I do.
I hate to out you.
Yes, I am your resident sex addict. And I did say sexed addict with a T. And everyone on this campus has seen it all. So, do you guys... there is literally a point where it's like, is this damaging to my career if I send out so many... You know what I mean? It's like, oh man, it's kind of scary.
I don't, but I'm done to understand you.
Because you've sent messages to literally everybody. You've sent a blast email to the entire theater
professors,
department.
Your email signature is a picture of your genitals. Which, I mean,
it's really impressive that you bent them in a way to spell your name.
No, yeah, that's really hard. Kind of like with your hair, in the grass or something, for an Instagram photo. Yeah, I do have a segment.
Yeah.
So, do you guys watch any reality TV at all? Do you?
Not really.
I dabble.
Okay.
I tell you what, I love Love Island quite a bit.
Really?
You do? Yeah. Yes. Well, I don't know if you guys, this is your field of expertise, but it's just really on my mind, and I think you would have some interesting thoughts about it. So, it's Drag Race. RuPaul's Drag Race right now. So, there is a UK version. And there's the American version. There's also a Canada version.
Like The Office.
Exactly.
Or Love Island.
Or Love Island. Or Sex and the City soon. keep your eyes peeled. Anyway, so they just... so both the UK season and the American season premiere the same day. They have the same number of contestants, but the American season's only halfway through, and the UK one just ended because the American one has so much funding. The UK one just crowned their winner, and everyone on Twitter, except for maybe 5 people, everyone on Twitter in the whole universe thinks it was wrong. That so-and-so was robbed or something, and they're going crazy, and they're so mad, and they're like, so-and-so was robbed, so-and-so was robbed. And so I was wondering if you guys, any endings of TV shows or any endings of things where you think people were robbed in certain ways or something like that. Because it's a very interesting idea to me. It's who cares? I don't know, who does really care about this? I love TV and I love reality TV too, but I mean, this is your life, bro. It's it feels kind of like a gamer thing sometimes when people freaked out about stupid things in games,
Yeah,
I don't know, it's so ridiculous.
I do feel that way about several things. I think the one, I doubt this is the one that I feel most strongly about, but it's definitely up there. I mean, before the last season, Game of Thrones was my life, and it was I became one of the people who that was my personality. I was reading, everything. I was watching everything. I rewatched it with 2 different friends at the same time before the final season. I was so excited, and then I do feel, and it's one of those things where I do feel we got robbed. Yeah. Because just because truly the writers didn't give a fuck anymore.
They stopped caring.
And again, everyone else did a great job. I mean, this is like
they couldn't help it.
Yeah, everyone else did a great job, but the writing was just so bad. Because, like, if they did their best, they gave it their best effort, and it just didn't, satisfy, I'd be like, okay. But they just were like, I don't know, fucking 6 episodes. We're just gonna wrap everything up. I don't fucking care.
Exactly. Yeah, and then it came out that the creators, like, that HBO, gave them, they said, you can have as many seasons as you want. Like, you can have 4 more seasons. And the writers were like, no, we're tired. We're gonna go make a show about what if the South won the war in the Civil War. Or something. And they said they were going to...
Is that what's happening? Are they doing that right now?
They were going to, then everyone said, we don't want to watch this. Like, everyone said,
yeah, of
no.
Course. Especially now.
Exactly.
Especially now.
Exactly. So, and then they also were given a trilogy of, like, the new Star Wars movies, a new Star Wars trilogy. And then the backlash from Game of Thrones, everyone was like, no, this was a bad show now. They lost that. They lost the Confederate show. Good, no one wants to watch that. But then they lost the Star Wars gig. They lost, like, so much because... Everyone was like, if you're just going to give up on the projects that you do, like, no, we don't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. And I actually kind of fully agree with that, actually. I think we were robbed of a good ending of Game of Thrones. Yeah, especially years in the making. I think it's so different because, like, with one season of Drag Race, it's like, I don't really, whatever. Like, it's been 2 months. But with Game of Thrones, like, 10 years almost of build-up, and then it just to be that. Yeah, I fully agree with that. Yeah.
I think also... I'm gonna switch the paradigm a little bit.
Go ahead, please do.
I don't like it when the ending isn't what robs, but when a good ending is robbed by needless, like, sequel or follow-up.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the 2 things that come to mind for me, they're both anime. Hey, I'm Alex.
Of course, hey.
This is a show called Virgins in the Village.
So Naruto... I think, which is a show that is very special to me, a character that is very close to my heart. It has a great ending. Let me take a second. The ending, I think, like, the last arc of Naruto is not very good, but I don't think it's so bad that I feel robbed type deal. But, like, the like, literally, like, the last, like, episode type deal where, like, he achieves his goal, and it's this whole idea that he's, like, the person, like, the whole show is, like, building to this idea that he is the person who can bring peace to, like, the ninja world, as it were, blah, blah, blah. And then Boruto comes out, and so it's like, oh, so it didn't mean anything? Right. And then also he's a shitty father, and it's like, I don't want to see him like this. And then also Code Geass is, like, my second favorite show of all time. Its ending was, like, one of my favorite endings in all of media, and it's getting a 3rd season soon, and that makes me upset, because I thought it ended it perfectly.
Yeah, Russian Doll. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I feel that way. Not about. I feel what you're saying in terms of that with Gravity Falls. Because it hasn't had a sequel, and its ending is very well done. And Alex Hirsch, the creator, was like, he could have done like 2 more seasons of it because it was a very successful show. But he specifically said, "I'm ending it here. There is not going to be any, like, I don't want to do any more Gravity Falls because the story is done. It has reached a very good conclusion, and I respect the hell out of that."
Yeah.
Because the thing is, when you have such a successful property like Naruto, like Gravity Falls, and
Game of Thrones,
and you're given the option to expand that story, it's the live long enough to see yourself become a villain situation where so many things fall into. It's like I don't even know how I would react in that situation. Like totally. if I had the opportunity to continue a creative project and like right at its prime, I think sometimes those people just don't have the foresight to see, like, because when you're at a peak, you don't know that you're at the peak, you know.
Exactly,
and I think that's the hard thing as a creative is to know when to end things.
Definitely,
you know?
Yeah. Especially also. You're like, okay, I'm ending this. This is my job. Like, I'm like, what if I don't have a job after this? Like, if I end this now, like, what if I don't get hired for anything else?
What if people don't like the ending and then I lose Star Wars?
Exactly. I lose Star Wars and Confederate, my favorite show. like, yeah, like you're in so much anxiety. That takes a lot of like guts to be like, no, I'm gonna walk away from like a stable income and job, and I'm gonna tell all these people in my writer's room that they won't have a job either, you know, because we want to respect our ending. Yeah. That's really respectful, like very, yeah. I mean, yes, that's a great idea.
I've done like I run, you know, D&D campaigns. I've been playing D&D for 4 or 5 years. I've had one campaign come fully to its proper end, and we were at a point where like the characters I think were only like level 14 or something. So if I wanted to, I could have continued that campaign. But like you have to make that decision at a point to be like, hey, I'm going to end this.
Yeah.
I'm going to end it when it should end. I'm not going to make it 4 hours long and put it in a 4:3 aspect ratio. Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Can I touch? That was the best transition.
I felt really good about that segue, Alex.
I want to do one more ending robbery.
Do it.
The Boys comic book.
Okay.
I read all of the Boys comics, and I think that the ending is it's great. It's perfect until literally the last issue. Yeah. The last like 10, 15 pages of The Boys, I think it's a choice that I want to talk about it, but I don't want to spoil it.
Right.
But it makes everything seem like it wasn't worth anything.
Totally. I kind of want to read the comic. I'll talk about it.
It's good.
I want to.
Heavy.
Yeah. It is so. I've been reading on the path to reading it, and the first few episodes I've watched, or the first few issues I've read, it's just. It's really weird. It's really like.
It's different than the show.
It's different than the show, but dark. Like that's not why I think it's weird. I just think it's written weird because there's.
Yeah.
I don't want to, you know, I don't want to take up, because we're already at 50 minutes, and I really want to talk about the Snyder
We need
cut.
to give time for Snyder,
But it's just a little weird.
Yeah. We can talk about this off mic. I'm very interested to hear about this.
Yeah. I would love to talk about this.
But Zack Snyder's Justice League released 2 days ago. We all watched it together.
We did.
With a couple of our other friends, Ben and Clayton.
Wow.
We watched the entire literal 4-hour film, Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Yeah. I'd never seen the original.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first time
Alex and I had both seen the original.
Yeah. It's insane.
We, the entire day building up to this, we had been hearing things on Twitter and other people about people being like, this is actually good. This is actually good. So we were building up like all day to being like, oh my gosh, is the Snyder Cut going to be good?
Right.
Yeah. Y'all, I don't like being
I feel
this
crazy.
guy.
I feel crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like being the guy, because liking stuff is obviously more fun than disliking
Of course.
it. So
I would want to like this. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like being... I feel like this is the second time on the podcast where I've talked about how, like, I shouldn't be using objective terms. Like, first I want to talk about how much I didn't like JoJo Part 5. But, like, y'all gotta stop liking the Snyder Cut. It's not good. Don't get me wrong, the first hour is bliss.
Yes, Alex. Yeah. We were, like, invested. We were like, oh my god, and this and this and this, also cool. This must happen, and then I bet this happens, and I bet this happens, and then
it kept going for 3 hours.
It just kept happening, and oh man, and that, I think that just goes to the greater point. Even if it was good, it shouldn't be 4 hours long. Like even if it was,
it also shouldn't be Justice League characters. The characters that they had, aside from I think Flash, didn't feel like the people that they were supposed to be.
Right.
I thought Cyborg was fantastic in this movie.
Oh, wait,
and truly the only thing that kept me going.
Cyborg was good. I
thought the intro to Cyborg is some of my favorite superhero media I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Because
it was very fast too, very truncated, very succinct. Yeah.
The scene where the mom's talking to the principal. I mean, I feel like that scene was like, I'm gonna make Cyborg the hero of every college student ever.
Yeah.
Like, Mary lost her home this year. How do you expect her to get A's in her class?
I forgot that scene happened.
Like,
by the way, I've forgotten a lot of. We watched it and I paid attention. Like I wasn't on anything else. Yeah, we were all paying attention, and I cannot remember about 60% of the movie.
I remember Wonder Woman like doing a thing where she was running and dodging bullets, like do.
Yeah, that was cool. That was cool. There was a lot of
the first hour is good.
Awesome.
There was a lot of really cool moments and really cool scenes. but when you put all those scenes together in a movie, it's not good. Because oh my gosh, there's a random scene where they introduce Martian Manhunter in the middle of the movie when he goes as Martha's. I'm spoiling it. I don't care.
Please do. Yeah, it's 2.5 hours in. Who knows?
Yeah. We're gonna spoil 2 minutes of a 4-hour fucking piece of shit.
Where Martian Manhunter, disguised as Martha Kent, goes and talks to Lois Lane and gets her to rejoin the world. And then after that, when Martha Kent is leaving, she turns into the Martian Manhunter.
Right. And we didn't know until that moment. We did not know that was we thought that was Martha Kent the whole time. The entire scene, like a 3-minute scene of, come on, come back to the world. We love you. You're so great. You're awesome. I'm Martha. I'm Martha. Like It's And
then he turns into back into his alien his Martian form.
Exactly.
And then turns into the General, revealing that the General was the Martian Manhunter the whole time. And it's just like, okay, or you could just have let that moment be a nice Martha Kent moment.
Exactly.
Yeah. That I hated that because it's not like he's just hanging out with Lois. He's talking about grief and the death of her. Again, it's not really her, but the death of her child.
Yeah.
Like it's emotional manipulation to do that to Lois. Like, it's so fucked.
It's like insane how sincere the movie treats that moment. And you're like, isn't it awesome that he did this? Like, imagine doing that like yourself. Like, if you actually did that to a person, like that is insane. And then later, like maybe an hour later in the movie, but like probably like a day later in terms of the movie's universe or whatever, real Martha and Lois Lane like hug Superman when he comes back. Spoiler alert. And then it's like, so does Lois think that was actually Martha and they're like that?
Yeah, I want to see that conversation. I want to see that conversation where
consequences.
Where
she's
Lois,
gonna find out.
Where Lois says, "Hey, thank you for that conversation. That really helped me." And Martha goes, "What are you talking about?
Crazy bitch, what are you saying?"
and then she's like, "What?" And then they find out, and it's like, "Oh, there's a shapeshifter? Yeah. There's a shapeshifter going around talking to people about grief?
Yes.
How did he know about my son?"
Literally.
That puts Martian Manhunter... Look, J'onn J'onzz, I finished Justice League Unlimited recently, and J'onn J'onzz is one of my favorite characters. He's always been. He's such a great... he's such a great character to have in any like Justice League stories because he gives a very interesting perspective. But putting him in that position, he's always very respectful. Yes. His whole thing a lot of times is like the respecting people's boundaries, and that is such an overstepping.
Yes, literally, yeah. And then also he comes back later in the movie and he's like, "I'm the Martian Manhunter." So like he could have just done that ending part. We didn't need him in the middle, you know. Like
he did.
They could have just.
He didn't help out in the ending battle to save the world.
Yeah, maybe it could have been like, what if instead Martian Manhunter like leaves maybe a note like from an anonymous person like, "Hey, we love you, Lois. Come back to the world of the living," or something. This is a random coworker or your boss or something. Like instead of posing as Superman's mom and talking to her for 3 minutes, like there are other ways to help this grieving woman.
Yeah.
Man. Oh wow.
Then the rest of the movie happens.
It's awful.
The rest of it is. Look, all right. Look, okay. I'm not gonna say you can't do dark superhero stuff.
Of course.
Right. But Zack Snyder's color palette.
Wow.
I understand the choice, and I'm not one to say like, oh fuck directors and having artistic choices, but I'm still criticizing it because I think it's dumb to have every single character be. There were moments in the movie where you like. There's times where you can't tell if it's in black and white or not because the color palette is that drab.
Exactly.
And it's like it's Superman. Superman should like at least for motions. People should have color in their costumes. Like, the most you get is Barry's, like, maroon red. And it's like...
I like the Flash costume.
I don't dislike the costume, but... Look, just let the color palette be a little bit brighter. Like color correct the movie. Like, give Barry just, like, up the brightness, like, 2%, right?
Right. And then, because it was so dark, and then whenever the Flash would do his fast running thing... The electricity that would come off him would be such a bright blue, almost white, and it would literally like be. It should have been like an epilepsy warning in such a funny way. It was almost like jarring how like bright the light was. It was really cool. It was a great effect.
Yeah.
It really worked. But like the brightness was so intense. It would like wake me up every time. Oh,
and also,
it was
there were so
crazy.
many missed opportunities to do great little character things that would stay so true. One that really comes to my mind is Cyborg's dad kills himself in this movie when he's trying to destroy the Mother Box. And he gets vaporized, and Cyborg is there, and the rest of the Justice League comes in. And Batman... Oh, I've lost our stopwatch. That's okay. Never mind, I haven't lost our stopwatch. Batman comes in and is basically just like, oh, I have a solution now on like, he gets an idea on how to beat Darkseid. And it's like, I talked to Alex about, like, in the movie, I was like, why isn't Batman consoling, like, Cyborg? Like, his whole thing is he lost his parents, and that is the whole reason he's Batman. So to see somebody else lose their parents before their eyes, that is a moment where Batman should be human, and should just be like, Cyborg, like, you have to fight because of this.
Exactly, yeah. Like, it would have been such a really interesting through line if grief was like a bigger theme of this movie, because Lois Lane has grief, Martha has grief, Cyborg has grief, Batman has grief. Like,
instead of just Jesus allegory.
Exactly. Which, like, kind of happens, kind of.
Yeah, because Superman flies up and does the cross pose.
Which,
if
he was already did that in Man of Steel.
Literally. And also, I just don't recall Jesus having a dark moment or something. Like, oh man, but like if grief was just a bigger message, it seems like they really could have hammered that home more, because the Martha and Lois stuff really could have worked, like really honestly, if it was, not Martian Manhunter, but like different things. Like if by the end of this movie everyone's like, okay, grief, and then right as maybe Lois is getting over her grief, then Superman comes or something like that. Like instead it's kind of like Lois's solution to her grief is Superman coming back, which is a weird message. Then it's like, well, because for Cyborg, his parents can't come back, the Batman's parents can't come back. It's very weird.
Yeah.
It's very bizarre.
And then there's the movie ends like 3 times. I think Zack Snyder wrote 4 different versions of an ending and then just filmed all of them.
Yeah.
Because there's the first ending with Martian Manhunter being like, I'm here to help, and then he flies away.
Yeah.
There's the second ending where something happens.
Lex Luthor?
The Lex Luthor ending, where Lex Luthor gets Deathstroke, and he's like, we're putting together a team. We're putting together some side of Suicide Squad.
Right.
Will Smith Genie, of course, cameos.
Of course.
He comes out and says, skibbity bop 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 bop, skibbity doo.
And Lex Luthor is like on his boat and shit.
Yeah. And then the third ending happens where it's the Bruce Wayne dream where he's in the alternate universe, and then he has a whole talk with Jared Leto Joker, and says he's gonna fucking kill Joker, and then Superman comes down and it's like, oh, it's evil Superman, and it's like, oh, good job, Zack Snyder.
Yes.
One of these days I'm gonna talk about my strong opinions on how Batman should be represented in media. One of these days I'll do like a full deep dive, but I hate this Batman so much. Again, like, I know everyone's talked about it all the time, but like Batman uses guns. He's holding a gun more often than he's not in this movie.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
And also they kept in the line, I'm rich, that's my superpower, or something.
Yeah, I was take
oh,
that line out.
That's
so stupid.
So there's a popular thing amongst Batman about how Bruce Wayne is the alter ego, right? Batman is the real person, Bruce Wayne is the alter ego. And I think especially for this, that is true, right? Like I think especially for Batman, people have tried to do it for other superheroes. It's not really whatever, but Batman is Batman, Bruce Wayne is the alter ego. I think that's pretty widely agreed upon. And in this movie, he is Bruce Wayne for 90% of the film. I don't even think he gets into a Batman costume until 2 hours in.
And it's like a moment. It's like, wait, what? I just forgot he was Batman, kind of. Also, are there, like... I had this problem watching it. There were, like, 6 Bat caves or something. And, like...
Yeah! Yeah!
Oh, man.
What is that? I can't even remember it. It's been 2 days, and I've been thinking about it almost, like, nonstop. Right? And I still can't remember, like, so much of the movie is so forgettable. And it's in 4:3. It's in 4:3.
Let's really mention that the second that we all realized it would be a fucking square, I thought it was a joke, because I was like, I did not know that people did movies in squares anymore. I'm not a huge movie buff, so I was like, I thought the Square movie was something that was a detriment to film and that they got passed. I didn't realize it was something you could choose again. And I made this comparison. It's like whenever you rewatch Avatar The Last Airbender and you remember it's a square and you're like, oh shit, in my childhood it was just a gorgeous cinematic long rectangle, but it's a square. And it just literally, it's so... Is Sex and the City a square? I literally don't remember. Was it?
I think it is. Is it not?
It's not 4D.
No, because it fit in your whole screen. It fit in your whole TV. Yeah. Crazy. It's just bizarre.
It's a weird choice.
There was also the opening sequence was like 5 minutes of Superman screaming and his scream going across the entire world.
I totally forgot about that.
There are so many moments where they just start doing a music number. And nothing happens.
Yeah. There's just music that comes in, and so much random slow mo.
There were so many.
Zack Snyder,
many of those.
Play your film at regular speed, and it would be a 2.5-hour movie.
I think I counted about maybe 6 full-length songs in this movie.
Right?
Like song montages, beginning to end songs. It is it's insane.
Also, something I'll give this to Snyder. I think Snyder does combat extremely well. Like the fights in Man of Steel and Batman v Superman, I think are some of my favorite superhero fights. Yeah. Where was that in this movie? None of the action in this movie was good in my opinion. I was so bored the entire last... the Wonder Woman part was awesome.
It's because they throw in random slow-mo bits. I think action looks the best when it's flowing in real time. John Wick combat, when they're not using, because sometimes there are moments where slow motion can be really cool to enunciate a particular moment.
And Zack Snyder's used the slow mo to great results in the past, but he went.
It was weird.
He went way crazy in this.
Because imagine how cool it would be if Batman actually got to fight parademons and not just shoot them, right?
He also got his ass kicked
so many times. Also, let's talk about how fucking we saw the biggest, baddest enemy, Darkseid, get fucking bodied in a flashback, and it's like, okay, so why are we scared of him at all?
He gets hit.
There were no stakes.
He gets downed in one shot.
Exactly.
By Ares, who Wonder Woman already defeated.
Yeah.
A less powerful team kicked Darkseid's ass. And then also they're also in the middle of the movie, they're able to handle Steppenwolf just fine. There's no stakes.
Exactly.
I was so fucking bored.
If maybe it's said that old team who defeated him was so powerful, that they were literally gods, they could not be matched or whatever, and maybe the goal of this movie was to get to that level of power, like the old gods or whatever, to defeat this guy. But no, it's literally we have fucking gods here, we have fucking warriors, we have great people who can do all these things. Why do we care? And also we never fight Darkseid. We thought that it was going to end with a culmination in fighting Darkseid. We see him, and it's done.
Literally, the tagline of the movie on HBO Max is new shit, new heroes, new villains, and there's not new villains. It's just Steppenwolf.
Yeah, and then there's
Steppenwolf who just. Remember the one Amazon that died because a horse fell over on her? And then she was grieved hard when a whole building of Amazons just died?
Imagine that. Literally, they had a moment of grief for this woman who couldn't get up because a horse was on her. And it, I'll say it again, any character who dies because a horse is on top of them
is not an Amazonian. Is not an Amazonian.
An Amazonian. Yeah. Literally, there were so many Amazonians around, they could have just picked up the horse and taken her to an infirmary or something like that. Literally, people dying because horses are on top of them, fucking amazing. I feel like that probably happened in Game of Thrones. I think every character and everything should die because a horse landed on them. Imagine if
what if Steppenwolf just was throwing horses at the Justice League?
That's actually dangerous. Horses are huge. That would, a horse cannon, that would be my,
don't get me wrong, if a horse fell on top of me and crushed me, I think I would probably die. But I'm not an Amazonian warrior.
How about this, right? The bus hits Carrie Bradshaw.
Whoa.
But it just hits her pinky. She barely got out of the way, right? And then those horses in New York City just...
so bus hits her, she's like, whew, that was close. Boom, horses run over. It's like a stampede.
Bus.
And she forgot.
1,000 horses shoved together, amalgamated into a bus.
Oh my god. Yeah, oh my... And that bus that almost missed her hits the horse bus. All the horses fall out, and it's like a sea of horses, and they're like,
Yeah.
run! The whole movie becomes slow-mo, run from the horses. I think...
Oh yeah, remember that time?
Remember
that time that in Snyder Cut where Wonder Woman's mom was running in slow mo, but the building was collapsing in regular speed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Literally, rocks were just falling at regular speed, and she was like.
And
well, we gotta give Zack Snyder credit here. This is like a deeper meaning there.
Exactly.
Where, like, she feels like she is like
running,
slowed down. Her heart is slowed because all the Amazons are dying, and like the speed
Hey,
at
Alex?
which everything is falling
Alex.
apart is
Alex.
represented
Alex.
in the bricks
Alex.
falling. Yeah.
Alex,
Yeah.
tell me one line that character said.
So I was thinking about how much I hate this.
Show me your fear.
Show me your fear. That was
was
cool.
awesome. That was fucking awesome.
Great battle.
Forget first hour is bliss. I was smiling ear to ear that first time.
Yes.
And it just kept
And
going.
then it just is so
Then it just
boring
kept
and
happening.
awful.
Oh my god. And Gal Gadot again. Great look for Wonder Woman. Great whenever she's standing there. Looks like Wonder Woman. Performance. I don't know about that. I don't know about that performance. Yeah. Man.
I think that's about enough for the Snyder Cut.
Yeah.
Thank you for touching my leg like that, Alex.
No.
We're all sitting on the
canon? Who
floor
knows?
in my closet right now because
Very
there's not
good.
enough room in my closet for 3 chairs. So we're shoved in here, all on the floor.
My virgin segment is I just really like Moxie from Hello Boss. Just mine.
Okay.
Nice.
Nice.
Makes me
Nice.
happy. Yeah.
Now, we have a little tradition here, Max.
Yes.
Who were you this episode? If you had to tell yourself as
Ooh.
this episode 6, Secret Sex,
Yes.
who were you this episode?
Such
You're such a...
So normally I would say I'm such a Samantha. I'm very, cavalier with,
having
sexuality,
sex with high schoolers.
But then that line happened and I was
Yeah.
like, I don't know about that. I don't know. I would probably say I think I'm a Tom, the guy, the spank guy. I think I'm him. I think I'm him.
Okay, cool.
I like to divulge in some crazy sex things, but if you spank me in public, I'll
Shove the
turn
gym-
around and
gym
never talk
socks?
to you again.
Nope.
Yeah,
no
gym
socks in
socks in the
public.
face. Bring up anything else? Yeah, no, I think I'm a.
Yeah,
I think
so
I'm,
remember, if you ever see
yeah.
Maxim in public, please
don't
put gym socks. Any other socks is fine.
Exactly.
like a stocking, like Christmas
Stocking,
style.
Christmas stocking. But like, okay, yeah, actually. No, because then that reminds me of like kind of Christmas Santa's elves role play kind of thing.
Yeah.
Santa's elves
Yeah.
power dynamic. Yeah.
Oh. Max is like watching the tree light up in New York, like, I don't think so.
It's
I don't like what this
time.
makes me think of.
I don't like what this is. No, I see. Yeah, like the fucking Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, like old claymation. I'm like, God, this reminds me.
Oh,
But that's
me.
me.
Dennis, what else does he want to do to me? This is fucking weird. I hate
Jesus
this.
Christ. So yeah, I'm Samantha with a bit of Tom. Samantha without that one horrible line.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alex, who are you this episode?
You know, this episode, gotta say, without a doubt, Commissioner Gordon.
Very well.
I'm
Commissioner
J.K.
Gordon.
Simmons.
He's J.K.
Commissioner Gordon.
You know what? I have to
J.K.
say
Simmons.
that me, this episode, I am the guy from the porn. Not the guy from the porn, but I am
Right.
specifically his cock. Because I feel like right here is where I belong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this a woman spanking you?
Yeah.
Nice. Alex is about to lose
Alex's face right now is filled with so much disgust. This why that face that Alex just made
Yeah.
is the reason that I don't think I'll ever be ashamed to tell you guys who I've had sex with if I ever have
Exactly.
sex.
That's great.
But yes, so we're about an hour and 12 minutes in. This has been a long ass podcast, you
I like
guys.
it.
Well, it's in honor of the Zack Snyder Cut.
That's very
Of
true.
course.
We are going to 4 hours. So
Oh yeah.
Maxim Foster, is there
Yes,
anything
sir.
specifically you would like to advertise for?
No. Well, my handle on all social medias is @MaxDeleted. I recently learned how to use a green screen, so I think some stuff is gonna go up. So some nice content, green screen content. Content. Yeah.
We will be
yeah.
linked in the description.
Totally.
Your Twitter at the very least.
Yes, totally.
we'll-
And our comedy association this upcoming Friday, our video, I will be doing some stuff for that. All of us will.
Yes, we
So
will
we're
all
excited
be
about that.
featured in some form or fashion. I believe in the on Friday, March 26th. That is 6 days, or not 6 days. That would be this Friday if you are watching this on Tuesday when it comes out.
Hell yeah.
This will be it will be on the Comedy Association YouTube channel, premiering at 8 p.m. It will be about a 45-ish minute show where we're all just doing some comedy, having some fun.
And I edited some stuff for the improv. I think it's going to be a good one. I think it's going to be a pretty good show this season.
Yeah. Very excited. Very excited. So if you would like to send us an email, again, that is virginsandthevillage@gmail.com. Again, that is virginsandthevillage@gmail.com. Send us your questions, send us your comments, send us your Sex and the City VHS tapes if you really want to.
DM us on Twitter how you want Barkley to die in my episode.
Yes,
Ooh.
do that. Best one will get into the writer's room on HBO. Yes, our Twitter is @VirginsVillage if you want to follow us there. We are, if you are watching this on a podcasting app, it would be so, I would literally cry and out of tears of joy if you gave us a like, if you gave us a rating, if you did whatever it is in your podcasting app to say that you like this show. I would absolutely love you for watching us on YouTube. Please subscribe. These go up every Tuesday until the show is done. Anything else we need to talk about? I'm going to take that as a no. So, until next week, keep having sex, keep having city, and we love you. Bye-bye.